Who is it?
Just me, boss.
And you are...
It's Frank, your inventory manager.
Ah, that's right. What do you need, Frank?
Well, the other senior staff members and I have been talking, and we think it's high time you found yourself an assistant to help you manage this place.
Why? Do you think I'm incapable of managing this facility on my own?
No, we just think with you going out and looking for colors and all, it'd be smart to have someone here to make sure things are still running smoothly.
I see. And pray tell, who do you think is worthy of that kind of position?
Well, you're not going to find them anywhere in this factory, I can tell you that much.
So you expect me to go out and recruit somebody for this position? How long do you think that'll take? Hours? Days? Weeks? Fuck that. I'm not interested in interviewing a million people just to find someone to babysit the morons in this place, if they're even able to stomach working here at all. Plus, how do I know they're not just going to turn around and betray me so they can be the one to manage the facility?
Don't worry, we actually came up with a list of requirements to help narrow down the search. Obviously, it goes without saying that they'd have to know their way around the colors the factory produces and be able to handle making them.
Obviously. Go on.
They should also be strong and fast enough to take on any of the workers here. And as for them being loyal to you, well, if you were to say, pull them out of a dire situation, they'd be in your debt. It's not foolproof by any means, but it gives you something to work with.
And where do you expect me to find someone like that?
Right here.
The neighborhood creature?
Sally's been obsessing over sightings and news articles of them for the past few weeks. Reports indicate they're somewhere in the forest about 10 miles north of the factory, viciously attacking anyone they stumble across. But usually they go for those with bright, vibrant colors.
Looks like a regular old torn-up ragdoll with an attitude problem, if you ask me.
Well, this regular old torn-up ragdoll is responsible for numerous disappearances in the area. Not just you. And the authorities have given up trying to catch them, deeming them uncatchable. If something isn't done about them, it could start cutting into our production numbers.
And you think the solution is to take in this feral creature and turn them into an employee?
What I think is that this could potentially kill two birds with one stone. You get an employee that is exceptionally strong and fast and could make a worthy assistant for you, and you, get more people to turn into colors, I guess.
I'll consider it. In the meantime, tell Sally to hand over that research she's been doing. I think I'd like to know more about this neighborhood creature before I try to go look for it. This is ridiculous. I've been out here for at least an hour, and there's not a single sign of this stupid ragdoll. If finding them turns out to be some sort of wild goose chase, I'm gonna... Oh, Jesus Christ, you're even uglier in person. You're not even fit to be grinder food. Heh. Do you really think a tiny thing like you is... That is enough. Now, I'm going to give you two options here. Quit resisting and return with me to my factory, and we'll fix you up, or you die. Now what'll it be?
Factory.
Okay. You got a name? Oh, great. Well, you look like a pile of dirty old rags. So I'm just going to call you that. Rags.
Rags.
Yep.
And your name.
Walden Darling.
Walden Darling?
Yeah, you don't get to call me that. You'll address me as boss and only boss, unless I tell you any different. You got it?
Yes, boss.
Good. Now, come on. I'll carry you back to my factory. It'll be faster than just making you hobble there with one leg. Poppy, I got a new patient for you.
Oh, oh my goodness.
No way. You mean you actually managed to find them?
Of course I did, Sally. What do you take me for, incompetent?
No, not at all.
Oh, you poor thing. You've obviously seen better days.
Yeah. Just patch them up, then send them to my office so I can get them set up.
Oh, goodness. I don't even know where to start. Sally, could you go get the others for me? I'm going to need all the help I can get.
You got it.
Yes?
Just me, boss.
And what do you need?
Well, we need your expert opinion on something.
And what would that be?
Pick a button and a piece of fabric.
I'm not interested in your game, Selena.
It's not a game. Well, okay, it's kind of a game, but not really. Frank says that the quality of the material on a ragdoll can greatly impact their abilities and performance.
And these are supplies from this facility. It's all good quality.
I mean, that's true, but you do have an eye for these sorts of things. You know, what'll work best for your new assistant?
Potentially new assistant. They may call me boss, but they're not working for me yet.
Right. Okay, think of it like this. If you want them to perform to the best of their ability, they should probably be fixed up with RF's best. Wouldn't you agree?
If I do this for you, will you stop pestering me?
Absolutely. You won't hear a peep out of me for the rest of the day.
Fine. Now hand it over. This button and this fabric. Now get out of my office.
Thank you, boss. Oh my god, I can't believe that worked.
You mean you actually got him to play along in all of this?
Barely. He looked like he was on the verge of leaping over his desk to kill me.
He is getting better at keeping himself from killing people around here impulsively. Still doesn't change the fact that his mind is still completely fucked up.
And done. Your throat's all stitched up now.
Ugh, finally. Not so sure about this voice, though. Oh well, that can be worked on.
Move. I want to talk to her. Hi, I'm Selena Starlet. I'm kind of a big fan.
I'm flattered.
You got a name? Or is it just the neighborhood creature?
Well, boss has settled for Rags, so...
Rags? Ugh, let me guess. He decided to call you that because you're a ragdoll, right?
Actually, he said it was because I looked like a pile of dirty old rags.
Wow! Somehow that's worse than what I was expecting.
Can't they change it? I mean, it's only a name.
I'm afraid it isn't that simple. Wally was the one that found them and took them in. Ragdoll culture dictates that he can name them whatever he wants to. Do I have that about right?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair. She's still a person with her own thoughts and feelings. We should change it. I mean, it's not like Wally's going to care what she goes by anyway.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to getting a better name. It really all depends on whether or not my abilities as a ragdoll are actually needed.
Actually, those abilities might be incredibly therapeutic for him.
What do you mean? What abilities?
Well, most ragdolls have the ability to relieve stress and anxiety and bring the people they're close to comfort. Since Wally was the one to name them, then that could have a profound effect on their abilities whenever they're around him.
That's right. So, are they needed, or...
Yes. Very much so.
Wanted, though. Debatable.
We'll discuss it later. For now, we really need to get you fixed up, Rags. You all know what'll happen if we keep Wally waiting too long.
Right. Eddie and I can start cutting the fabric to make patches.
And Howdy and I can start making a new arm and leg for Rags here.
And I'll get to work on that left eye of yours so you can be fitted with a button that'll allow you to see.
Okay, Rags, you're almost all patched up. Now all that's left is the button for your eye. I sort of turned it into a game for all of us. Each of us picked a button, and whoever's button works best for you wins.
What does the winner get?
Whatever the winner wants. This one's my pick.
Vermilion. That's an interesting choice.
Wait, how did you know it was vermilion?
This is gonna sound strange, but I'm able to tell what color something is just from the way that it feels. But only when I can't see. It's not bad, but it's not good either.
Man. The old Wally would have gotten a kick out of this. This one's from Eddie.
Oh yeah, this won't do at all. I can't see Jack. It's a nice shade of violet, though.
This one's from Frank.
Plain black.
It's simple and not too flashy.
Actually, this is close. It's not perfect, but we're getting there.
And this one's from Poppy.
That's a very dark shade of green.
To go with your hair, sweetheart.
Again, it's close. It's just a bit too blurry around the edges.
I guess that just leaves Wally's then.
You know, I'm starting to get the impression that there's a lot going on with the boss that I don't know about.
Who's gonna tell her?
Well, are you familiar with the reports about a person referred to as the Midnight Maniac?
You mean the psycho that's killed 28 men, 20 women, and 12 children in the past 2 months? Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, that's Wally.
I see. Well, he certainly knows his way around a good button.
You mean you're choosing that button?
Yep, Perfect color, perfect size, perfect sight. It'll do.
Okay. I'll get that sewn on, and you'll be good as new.
Yeah, just hang on for just a second.
There. Those stitches were really starting to itch.
Oh, wow, okay.
By the way, Selena, was it? Could you please stop using gender-specific pronouns with me? I'm a ragdoll, and I identify as such. They, them, or it are all acceptable.
I think I'm going to like this guy.
Oh, do I really have to wear these fancy clothes just to see the boss?
What do you mean? The black turtleneck is the usual work attire around here.
It's not the turtleneck that I have a problem with. It's the dress pants and fancy shoes. I thought this was a factory.
It is. It's just that there's a chance Wally could take you on as his assistant, and if he does, you're gonna want to make a good first impression.
I feel like that's a moot point, given that I tried attacking him back in the forest.
Wait, you did what?
Anyways, is there anything I should know about the boss before I go in and meet him?
Oh, I could give you an encyclopedia's worth of information about that guy. But here are the main things you need to be concerned about. Listen to what he says, answer all of his questions, don't address him by name, and whatever you do, don't try to touch him.
Seems simple enough.
Believe me, that guy is anything but simple.
Who is it?
Just me, boss. I've brought Rags up to see you.
Took you long enough? Send them in.
Best of luck to you, buddy.
Well, you certainly look like you're doing better than when I last saw you.
I am, thank you. Your employees were certainly hospitable.
What the fuck? What's with the voice? Did Poppy drop a scalpel in there or something? Last time I saw you, you sounded like a withered old hag.
Let's just say this is my preferred voice. Keeps people from getting the wrong idea.
Well, I'll take it over the animalistic shrieking I heard earlier. What was up with that, if you're so well-spoken?
It was the only way I could get people to leave me alone. Besides, I was out there for a while surviving however I could. I guess you could say my moniker as the neighborhood creature wasn't entirely unwarranted.
Well, here's the deal. Some of my employees around here seem to think I'm in need of an assistant to help me manage this place. As repayment for saving your life, basically, you'll work for me as said assistant. Which hardly seems like a fair trade, but that's my offer.
Work as the assistant to the Midnight Maniac. And what is it you expect me to do?
Not much. This job is mostly just gathering reports and logging in paperwork, going over contracts, etc. Since you know who I am, there will be times when I'm away on important business, and you'll be the one to manage things until I return. And just in general, whatever this facility needs help with, that's what you'll do. Be it making colors or just bringing me a cup of coffee.
Making colors, you say? So that's where your victims end up.
That's right. They're brought here, drained of their spectra, and then tossed into the grinder. And since you know entirely too much now, that's what'll happen to you if you refuse. Either way, you're probably going to die here.
It's a deal then.
Sally, would you sit down already? Pacing up and down the break room isn't going to help.
Well, it helps me. What if this doesn't work? What if Wally ends up killing them?
Honestly, we shouldn't be putting all of our eggs in one basket for that reason. Wally could decide to kill them at any time for any reason.
You're not helping, Howdy.
All I'm saying is that we shouldn't be expecting Rags to replace Neighbor or make things go back to the way they were before.
I know. I just really miss them. I miss Neighbor, and I miss the old Wally. I miss the Wally that knew how to take a joke and would tease us on a regular basis. The Wally that didn't kill his friend.
Rags!
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Are you okay? Why did you just go limp?
It's a ragdoll thing. It'll wear off.
Well, you're still alive, I see. I take it then that the interview went well?
Define went well. What the hell is wrong with that man?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there.
I've never seen anything like it. His boundary lines, his personal space, the numerous missing pieces. It's like looking at someone who's been cut in half.
Wait, what are you on about? Boundary lines?
Just another one of my abilities. To keep it simple, I can see other people's personal boundaries. They look like bold red lines, and they move and change as I get to know them. The more lines there are, the more guarded the person is.
Ah, then I imagine Wally has a lot of boundary lines then.
Try a wall. So let me rephrase my question. What the hell happened to the boss? Because nobody puts up walls like that without having endured some serious trauma.
It's a long story. Do you have a minute, or do you need to be getting back to Wally?
He asked me to make him a cup of coffee while he retrieves my badge. Then after that, he wants Howdy to show me to the employee dormitories so I can rest for tomorrow.
All right, we'll have plenty of time then and we can explain everything. For now, let's just focus on getting you up and getting Wally that cup of coffee. He really doesn't like to wait for that.
Thanks.
Do you think your abilities will be able to work on him?
Sally?
What? I'm just asking.
Truthfully, I don't know. Only time will tell. Here's your coffee, boss.
And in a relatively timely manner, too. Not bad.
Is something wrong, sir?
Not particularly. It's just that this feels familiar somehow. Nostalgic, you might say.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad it's to your liking, sir.
Heh. Well, it's just dark roast with a couple of scoops of sugar. If you manage to fuck that up somehow, I'd have to kill you. Your badge?
Rags. Patchwork?
Well, I had to put something down for a last name. So, from here on out, you'll be referred to as Rags Patchwork. Is that a problem?
Not at all. Seems fitting.
My sentiments exactly. Anyways, we're done here. Do you have any questions for me before I hand you over to Howdy?
None that you'd probably be willing to answer.
And what is that supposed to mean?
They're a bit personal. I'm sure the answers will come in due time.
You're hiding something, and I don't trust that. I'm not letting you take one step away from my desk until you tell me what's going on.
Very well. Your left hand. What's the story behind that?
Heh. Why, it's only my greatest success of all time. a missing limb that I managed to regain with the help of this facility's laboratory.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Yes, well, that's privileged information. If anyone else asks about it, you tell them it's classified. You got it?
Got it.
Anything else you wish to know?
Well, just how familiar are you with us ragdolls and our abilities?
I've done my research. Your culture centers around bringing others comfort and easing tension, right?
Correct. And there are a few abilities that I have to help me with that. One of which is the ability to see other people's personal boundaries. Personal space, important memories and experiences, what makes that person tick, etc.
I see. And I'm guessing you've been trying to pick me apart for that information since the moment we met, right?
Well, since I left the infirmary anyway. Most of the time, it's like seeing someone that's wearing a brightly colored shirt. I definitely notice it, but I'm usually able to look past it. Yours are much more complex, though, which makes it difficult to ignore.
I fail to see how it's any of your business.
Then how about this? Care to make a bet?
Oh, I love where this is going. What kind of bet?
I bet I'll be able to stump you with just one question.
All right. Bet. What's your question?
Who are the most important people in your life right now? Family? Friends? Anyone at all?
Nobody. The only thing that matters to me is this factory and the colors it produces. Now, I suggest you get going. I'd hate to see those new materials on you be wasted and chucked into the grinder.
As you wish, boss.
And, assistant, don't ever pull that shit with me again.
Yes, sir. By the way, you should probably know you won that little game of Sally's from earlier. Apparently, the reward is whatever the winner wants.
So how'd it go?
I'm pretty sure I just made myself a target.
What? Why? What happened?
I may or may not have made a bet with the boss that I knew he couldn't win.
You did not. Are you trying to get yourself killed?
What was the bet?
I bet him that he couldn't name the most important people that were currently in his life.
Oh my god. I swear, you assistants seemingly have no sense of self-preservation. I mean, what was the point?
To see what parts of him are actually missing. And I was right. Whoever he used to care about before, he clearly doesn't remember them now.
Well, we could have told you that. Come on, I'll show you to your dorm, and we can talk more about it there. Here we are, room 3A. Fair warning, Wally's room is right next to yours, and he barely sleeps most nights, so you might hear him moving around a lot. Ta-da! Welcome home.
Oh, wow. It's already fully furnished.
Yep. You've got your bed, a couch, TV, coffee table, dresser, and your own kitchenette and bathroom. And Frank should be stopping by with some basic necessities later. Do you like it?
Well, it certainly beats sleeping in caves and hollowed-out trees.
You were really roughing it out there, weren't you?
Do you really have to ask? You saw how I looked when I got here.
Right. Now, about Wally. He wasn't always the way that he is now. In fact, he really didn't start to change until around 6 months ago. That's when it happened.
When what happened exactly?
He killed his best friend and ex-wife, Barnaby and Julie. They were our friends too.
I'm going to need to sit down for this. And what led to this happening?
We don't know the specifics. All we know is that he tore Barnaby to shreds in a fit of rage, and he had security gun Julie down in the main entryway. After that, he became very skeptical of everyone and their intentions.
But even then, it wasn't like how he is now. He had Neighbor to keep him grounded.
Neighbor? And who is that?
They were Wally's assistant before you. Fun, lovable, a little crazy if you got on their bad side. Really, just a delight to be around in general.
And what happened to them?
They died. We don't know how. All we know is that Wally was the one that found their body. But that's when things really started getting bad.
Wally started becoming really reclusive. He wouldn't talk to anyone and mainly just stayed locked up in his dorm or his office. I think the longest we went without seeing him was about a week.
And then one day, he just snapped and started killing everyone in sight. Workers, medics, technicians, anyone he could get his hands on. All with this twisted grin on his face. By the time he finally calmed down, he'd wiped out almost a third of the employees here.
And then the following night, he started going into town and killing people that were still out in the neighborhood, which eventually earned him the moniker of the Midnight Maniac.
I see. And I'm guessing that this has been going on these past 2 months, then?
Yeah. Granted, he's gotten a bit better. He has his periods of clarity during the day where he's at least somewhat approachable, but all it takes is one misstep for him to decide to attack someone.
And whatever happened, it really fucked him up bad. Howdy, Poppy, Frank, Eddie, and I all used to be his closest friends, but he doesn't remember anything or anyone prior to his first rampage.
So whatever happened to Neighbor, it was traumatic enough for him to repress those memories.
Ah, that must be Frank with your supplies. I'll get it. He's probably gonna need some Boss?
Pardon me for disrupting your little gossip session here. I forgot. There's one last thing that I need to give my assistant before they turn in for the night.
Oh, by all means.
Here.
A cell phone?
Yeah. You'll be the one dealing with call-ins as of tomorrow. And if I ever need you for anything, I won't have to waste time trying to hunt you down.
Thank you, boss. I greatly appreciate it.
So, what were you three talking about?
Nothing much. Just our old friends Julie, Barnaby, and Neighbor.
Heh. You guys are really fond of that ghost story of yours, aren't you?
Yeah. It's like a cautionary tale. You know, of some of the things that can happen to someone here at the factory.
You know, the thing is, I know you're lying to me right now. But we've also been over this before. I don't know anyone by those names. What about you, assistant? What do you make of their little ghost story?
I think it would be wise to not entirely dismiss it.
And what makes you say that?
Well, if the individuals they mentioned are real people that once worked at this facility, then there should be some record to show proof of their employment here. Aren't there files that exist in regards to the people that have worked here in the past?
my god. You haven't even bothered to check, have you?
I didn't say that. All I said is that I don't know anyone by those names. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I have a reward to collect on.
Reward? Oh, Rag's button.
You did say that the winner gets whatever they want.
Yeah, sure. What do you want, boss?
What I want is for you, for all of you, to just let it go. Whoever Julie, Barnaby, and Neighbor are, I don't know them. And since they're not here at the factory, there's no sense in me trying to track down any information on them. Am I making myself clear?
Yes,
Yes,
boss.
Good. Oh, yeah, that's right. I lost that little bit of yours, didn't I, Assistant?
Well, that bet wasn't really of any consequence to you, so...
Well, it would have been for you if you had lost. So what'll it be?
Well, since we're going to be working fairly closely together, all I ask is that I may be able to come to you with any questions that I have, whether it's in regards to work, or to pick your brain about things similar to Sally's, ghost story.
No guarantees you'll actually get a response from me. But fine. Work comes first, though. You got that?
Got it.
Good. Your shift starts at 6 a.m. Don't let these two idiots keep you up too late.
We're just waiting on Frank with their necessities. I'm sure they're going to want food and clothes.
Whatever.
You know, sometimes I can't tell if I miss him or if I genuinely hate him.
Either would be understandable. I should have known better than to try lying to him.
I mean, it was half true. Losing Barnes, Julie, and Neighbor does show that anything can happen here to anyone at any time. It's just so frustrating. The old Wally would tear up this factory from its foundation for answers if something happened that he didn't know about.
It's his trauma. That's what's preventing him from seeking answers or trying to remember.
How do you figure?
When I asked him about the employee files, his boundary lines formed a massive block. He might have looked perfectly calm in the moment, but inside he was starting to panic. He knows something is wrong. He knows something is missing. But part of him knows that looking for answers will be incredibly painful. That's why he switched topics so quickly.
Way to pull an Uno reverse card on him, though. Maybe all he needs is his assistant to keep him grounded again.
Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that my abilities will definitely be able to help him. I can't promise that I'll be able to bring the old Walden Darling back, but given enough time, I might be able to get him to recall what happened.
You realize pulling that off alone would be a bona fide miracle, right? So, what's the bad news?
The bad news is that losing Neighbor likely caused him so much trauma, so much mental and emotional distress, that it damaged his brain, and that killing people for their colors and managing the factory are the only things filling that void right now.
So, in other words, that's the only thing keeping him grounded right now. And if he loses that, we'll lose Wally.
This is going to be a very long and very dangerous process. If I mess up, him killing me is just one of the things that could potentially go wrong. Huh. Looks like there's an app on this phone that records audio. That might come in handy for something. Maybe I can keep an audio log of sorts that'll help me keep track of things. especially since my abilities are needed here. Okay, this is Rag's Patchwork. The date is... what is today? I'm pretty sure Frank gave me a calendar, but... Oh, duh, the cell phone's got the date and time. 7/7/23? Hold up, I was in that forest for 2 years? I was in that forest for 2 years, alright. Okay. This is my first audio log. Clearly, the introduction needs some work. Today marks my first day at the Rainbow Factory, and it has been a doozy.